Travelers on the Omnibus occasionally touches on mature subject matter with mature language. As such, the audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to Travelers on the Omnibus, a field trip through nerd and pop culture. My name is James McCarthy, and welcome to another one of our rest stops. This one was clipped out of our chalkboard for the top 5 music videos of all time, and we got to discussing Lorcana, which I think, at least this half of the year, has become our go-to game to talk about. Brady, who's the biggest proselytizer for the game amongst the group, is going to lead this off, and actually, Brady, have at.
Last Friday was the release for set 2 of Lorcana, Rise of the Floodborn. That's the name of the second set. So people, I was able to get my hands on some product. Had to drive quite a bit a ways for it. So I have some of the cards. Luckily, like the day the set came out, like prices on TCG Player dropped. So for just a little bit over the difference of what I would have paid if I would have played like these exorbitant prices for a booster box, I'm getting the cards that I need to update the deck, one of the decks that I already have. So there's that. I got a couple of things that I wanted. I got the really cool Cinderella. I got one of those. There's a really pretty Cheshire Cat card that I got that's really cool.
I have a question to ask on behalf of Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
How many Honeymancers?
I actually don't have any of the Winnie the Pooh ones.
I need the mat.
Yeah,
I need the mat.
The mat's probably more than like a damn near a booster box right now.
I don't play the game. I'd like to play the game. I need the mat.
Look on Etsy, and you might be able to find.
You've been
something.
going through a wave of emotions tonight.
There's so many cool things I've seen tonight.
There's a quivering in your voice about this mat that is terrifying.
Not a sponsor, but there's a website called Inked Playmats where you can send them an image and they can make you a mat.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So there was that. I'd updated all of the stuff for Pixelborn, which is the online client that lets you play
the unauthorized.
Yeah. I've been playing some stuff on there. I mostly have been playing my Amber Steel deck, and I really, really like the changes that this new influx of cards has given it. I think it makes it very, very powerful. There's also, but there is a deck that's been going around lately that is Ruby Sapphire using items, namely an item called Popsicle, P-O-W-P sickle. So from Zootopia, that has been able to be a very powerful deck against that one. But yeah, I'm enjoying playing it so far. I'm looking forward to getting the cards in that I needed. I know big box stores are supposed to get it December 1st. I'm probably going to try and get some more product then. But if not, if the prices aren't like super crazy, I'm probably going to try and at least on TCG Player buy singles and get and build another deck. There's a couple of really good things out there. There's a lot of interesting things with Merlin cards and Madame Mim cards from the Sword in the Stone when they do their little wizards duel at the end. There's a lot of interesting interactions with those that they have with those cards.
That's one of my favorite Disney action scenes of all time.
Mm-hmm. I keep saying I'm going to rewatch the Sword in the Stone. It's been a little while.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like out of the ones from the that was like 70s, right?
That's like the classic era.
I think it came out in the 70s or early 70s or something.
I think it was even before that.
It might have been late 60s. That one and like the Robin Hood, the Robin Hood one as well.
Robin Hood was definitely that was in the quote unquote Disney Dark Ages.
Yeah.
So that one was in like the 70s
Mm-hmm.
and 80s. Mm-hmm. The Sword in the Stone I think was before that.
I have the date.
Mm-hmm.
Before 64 or after 64?
After 64.
1963.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, that was right at the tail end of like the classic era.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically that ends when Walt Disney dies, and then they go into what's called the Dark Ages,
right.
when they still have like that's when like iconic movies like Jungle Book and Robin Hood are made, but they also start like reusing like animation cells.
Right. Yeah, I've seen videos, essays where they used several.
Well, I think Baloo was used specifically in
Robin Hood.
Yes,
Robin Hood.
So and all of that was used from was stolen basically from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Wow, okay.
The scene where they're playing music and dancing.
Yeah.
A lot of that is used in Jungle Book. It's used in Aristocats, and it's used in Robin Hood.
Holy hell.
Yeah. Look at some of the movements with how they're moving, and then go back and watch the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and it's like, oh yeah, this is the exact same movements. They just painted over these. Which I mean, it was they were trying to save money.
Well, also it was a time period where they didn't think they weren't going to put these things on television for the most part.
Yeah.
And there was no physical media at the time, so there's no way people would probably even remember that.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah,
I would imagine for the most part.
Probably more than you would be surprised, because they released Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, re-released it in theaters like quite a bit. But yeah, like for a long time there, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs had more ticket sales than like most than like some of like the biggest budget movies.
That's
of
also
all
like
time.
up until Star Wars, and like right after the original Star Wars, movies would run until they stopped making money. So because movies weren't coming out and at the rate they come out now, the rate they've been coming out for the past 20, 30 years.
Theater studio system where theaters were owned directly by studios.
Also true.
And so it's like, okay, so this is a 20th Century Fox studio. You're going to see 20th Century Fox films, and that's it. The multiplex, where you had multiple screens and multiple different movies across multiple studios.
Star Wars ran until Empire came out.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
Because it kept making money.
Yeah.
But with Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, a lot of it is that they re-released
Rocky Horror Picture Show has run infinitely since time immemorial for the same reason.
Yeah, it is like the longest running, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. They've had some issues, of course. Prices have kind of fluctuated on singles.
Pack prices.
The other day, well, that's ridiculous. And most places are for some reason trying to gouge.
I wonder. Okay, I'll be the evil devil's advocate here. If you've been in card games a long time, there are more dead card games than there are living ones. I'm coming at this from a strictly like capitalist.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Make all the money you possibly can.
Yeah.
If you don't think this thing's going to make it, even at the outset, if you're already at the point where it's like, oh, there's this new card game, there's a lot of interest, and it's not just from the card gaming public. What we'll do is we will get the stuff. We will sell it for whatever price we can get for it now to hopefully make up or to make a good profit on the front end, because when the back end comes and there's not the thing to support, like you're going into it, they don't think it's going to be supported. So get as much money as you can. I'm not saying this is, I want to stress this. This is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. It is a profit and earnings. Let's get what we can now, and then and later when we have this leftover, we'll just bargain cut it, because there is no community.
I'll also double down on what you're saying by saying there won't be any product for them to worry about like overstocked, because it's not available even for the stores to overindulge in buying a lot of it, even though they want to. So they're not going to have stock that's just going to sit there. Even though they're selling it for exorbitant amounts, it's gonna just fly off the shelves until interest peters out of maybe eventually.
Yeah, well, the problem is that like Ravensburger is like wanting this to be in as many hands as possible, because otherwise, like, this is gonna die.
I can.
So they're like, there's extra, like they've already announced like this set is getting a wave too. Like there's more of this coming out, and I can get it to where you're like, okay, if I sell this at the MSRP, somebody's going to open this box and then they're going to take it on eBay, or they're just going to take this box on eBay and sell it for double.
Definitely flip it.
Double.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you also have people who are in your community who are interested in this who aren't going to flip that box, who are buying it because they actually want to play the game.
100%. Yeah.
And I think that you aren't going to be able to keep selling this game if you like are just saying, okay, I'm going to stick it to everybody.
But then it comes back to my point of they know they can't and they don't care. And so they're going to make the money that they can now. And again,
yeah, well, it's the idea of capitalism where it comes with short-term gains at any cost, regardless of instead of building up long-term gains, we're going to have short-term gains. But we're not here to discuss the evils of capitalism and other economic systems.
I guess final note, at least for me on that, Ravensburger as the designer. Yes, I think 100%. You don't want to have like a team, or if it was a person or I would have to imagine it was a team because Ravensburger is a very well put together company. You don't want to have that team like work on this, create this thing, get a giant like IP to want to attach to it, and then put all that out there and put it out there, and then it dies on the vine like a year and a half.
Well, I mean,
but Asmodee, who's the publisher, there's like money now, and then we'll move on to the next thing. They did it to Star Wars Destiny, which was under Fantasy Flight's umbrella. I'm curious what they're going to do with the new Star Wars CCG that they're doing next year. And it'll follow the same type of practice. I think it
probably will.
And I just think that, again, designers get the designers and the player communities get the shaft, where the collector, publisher, and scalper communities are the ones that are enjoying this right
my
now.
thought on it, because I want to say one thing about it, is that let's just pretend for a second that it's Wizards. If there was 10% of the gaming community that out of the 40 million player base, if only like 10% for at least a short period of time, or maybe even a long period of time, were the only people that could buy it, but all the product was being like overly sold and bought off the shelves and flying off the shelves, the company gives no shits that there are people that can't get to it. Like as long as the product is selling, that's all they're seeing. That's all the numbers they're seeing.
But there again, Wizards is multiple hats. It is designer, it is publisher.
Any company that's selling all of their product, they don't care if part of the community is not being able to get it right away. That's how I feel about it. Like, as long as they're making a profit, you know.
And well, the other thing I wanted to mention about it was that I believe it was Monday, Ravensburger we're supposed to have it where you could pre-order stuff from their website, straight from their website. But people had a lot of issues with the queue because apparently, and this was confirmed by the actual tech company that deals with this shit for Ravensburger, they had a giant DDoS attack. Now, again, like you're giving me that skeptical face.
No. Please forgive me. That's not what I'm trying to. It's what the thing that I'm mad about is, okay, so this is the other side of the coin on this, is the fact that I can see a DDoS attack happening from this from groups that are like, no, we need to make sure that we can get as much of this product as we can.
Yeah.
So let's fuck this launch.
Yeah.
And then when they come back in, we'll be ready to set and go for it. That's what I think's fucking going on.
Well,
there.
yeah, from what I can tell, the statement from the tech company was that it was like bots trying to get into the queue.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think it was I don't think it was like a DDoS attack to shut everything down. It was
The server got overwhelmed.
It was basically it was overwhelmed with bots who were trying to buy up all the pre-orders.
Of course.
So they had to shut that shit down, and people were waiting for like hours and hours and hours in the queue. So that fucking sucks. But they said they're just gonna allocate that product to other places. Which I don't blame them. Like if they're gonna,
let me say then good on Ravensburger.
Yeah.
Like very good. Like, okay, we there was a problem, and it's not a problem that I think that can be fixed to try it again.
Yeah, and I think because it was like towards the end of the day where they were like, yeah, we tried really hard to get this fixed, and shit didn't get fixed. So we're just not doing the pre-orders online right now, and we're going to allocate this product to other places, and we'll try again later.
Right.
So yeah, but overall, like I like the set. I think it introduces some interesting things. It only adds like one new keyword, so
That's a good idea.
so it's not like
Not to
overwhelming.
overwhelm
and
the
it's a simple idea of like, okay, if they have resist +1, then that means they take 1 less damage whenever they take damage from something. So it's really it can be really strong.
Right.
And I think the good thing is with a lot of these some of these deck archetypes right now, like it's not these newer legendaries that are super expensive right now that are fueling them. A couple of them are. There's some really good legendary cards which is like the highest rarity of like a different card. Enchanteds are like an alt thing, but some of them need them, but like a lot of them don't necessarily. Like I think when it comes to if you're building something with Amber, you don't need those 2 legendary cards in that set. Then you got for some reason, like you got cards that they're legendary that aren't really even like in a lot of decks right now. Like there's a Emerald has a Bell that when you attack her, you have to attack her, you have and defeat her, you have to discard your entire hand, which is a really powerful effect. But it's not actually being played in decks that want you to discard your hand because you're playing all these other things that make them discard their hand. So if you have this Bell down and you quest with her and she's where she can be attacked, they're probably not going to have much of a hand anyway.
So she would be better suited in an aggro deck,
probably
because
yeah.
it's mitigating their advantage.
Yeah, she's probably going to be better in that. And right now, the Emerald is doing different things. They're doing the discard. They're doing more about like destroying the person's hand. They're doing more about different combo things when with steel, because there's a beast that whenever you unexhaust him every time that an opponent's character is damaged, so you can like do a lot of weird things with him. You're doing that one, and he's a legendary, so he's not quite as expensive, but he's kind of necessary for if you want to do that type of thing. But yeah, I don't know, they're doing some interesting things. I like a lot of the new cards, and it seems like there's very fun things you can do with the Amethyst cards, with the Merlin and the Mim cards, bouncing cards back to your hand and putting them back down. So it's not just about like I'm going to gain lore, which is how you win by questing. I'm going to do these other things to help get me that as well. So yeah, there's some cool things out there, and the set is looking cool. I've already I've seen some blurry ass pictures of the third set that's leaked. So there's gonna be cards from Atlantis: The Lost Empire, so that's good. They're also gonna introduce. I didn't see any of them, but they're introducing locations, because they have cards that say like if this thing is at this is at a location, do this, or moves to a different location.
A new permanent type.
Yeah, so it's going to be a new permanent type, basically, which items can be very powerful.
Or hell, what if it's like a new zone of play? Like instead of like the card creates a zone of play inside your area.
It's possible.
That I might or cuts off or partitions off a side. And
could be like if you have this location, your Aladdin cards do this.
Well, they specifically, the cards that I've seen are about like moving to a location. So it's going to be, it's probably not going to work exactly like this, but if you ever played Smash Up where they have the bases and you're actually like on them, it feels like it's going to be something similar to that.
Gotcha.
From
maybe a new play variant. That'd be cool.
Could be.
Maybe, I don't know.
Could be.
when I hear like locations, is to me it's like, okay, so I can tap all my creatures, and instead of questing to get lore, I can quest to this location. I get some kind of effect.
I imagine it's probably going to be something like pay an ink to move to a location or something like that. And then when they're at that location, they might get something special.
They get like a buffer or something.
Yeah, they get like a buff.
Like,
or something
so for like
that.
Magic, actually all card games that play like this are like they have zones, right? Like your hand is a zone, the deck is a zone, the battlefield or the play field is a zone. This might add another like zone.
Yeah.
Like an exile zone that only things happen in this.
Or again, like it cuts, like where you have the battlefield in Magic, where it cuts off a piece of the battlefield.
That's
like it's still all battlefield.
Right,
like,
right.
The place you're going to is also battlefield, but
Right.
it is a specific location.
It creates a different zone.
Yeah.
Within
there's some
zone.
interesting things with that. I've just seen a few of the cards and they look interesting. I'm excited to get some stuff from Atlantis because I really like that movie.
That's an art style that should have made it and didn't.
Yeah, for some reason, like Disney movies,
not art, but animation style.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
For some reason, Disney movies that are like adventure type movies don't sell well. Don't do well. You've got that one. You've got Treasure Planet. You've got
Treasure Planet's amazing.
Strange Worlds that just came out.
I need to watch that one.
It wasn't a Disney movie, but Titan AE. I think of it in
Titan
the same
AE.
way.
I really like actually.
I enjoyed Titan AE.
Yeah,
that's a Don Bluth, right? Or am I thinking of something else?
It's his company.
Okay, I got you.
It's his company, but
Right.
he'd been dead by
Right, I got you.
because it came out in like the 2000s.
Don Bluth's alive.
Don Bluth is alive.
Don Bluth is alive.
Huh?
Continue with
on
the podcast.
Yeah.
I could have swore he died.
Keep talking.
I will be very surprised if
Don
he is.
Bluth, 86 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, Don
I would have
Bluth's
put
alive.
money on he was dead.
Yeah, me too.
That is surprising.
I'm pretty sure when he looks in the mirror, he also says the exact same thing.
He's trying to find the secret of Nim.
He's probably trying to outlive. Did he work with Katzenberg? He's probably trying to outlive.
Jeffrey Katzenberg?
If he works with Katzenberg, he's probably. I think he went away before Katzenberg came on because Katzenberg came in during or right before the Disney Renaissance in like '89. I think he had left by then.
Gotcha.
Because I think he had made Secret of Nim before then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Secret of Nim's like 83.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
And then he did what, Fievel? Like
Yeah,
couple
the
years
American
ago.
Tale.
Secret of Nim is 82. American
82.
Tale 86. All
Yeah.
Dogs.
Yeah,
Go
so
to
he'd
Bed,
left before
89.
then. There's probably some other shitty person at Disney that he's trying to.
Oh, I'm
outlive.
sure. I'm sure.
They're probably all dead though.
Oh, probably. More than likely.
But yeah,
That's basically how it works here, folks. We start talking about a card game and we end up talking about Don Bluth. I think that pretty much encapsulates the entire Travelers of the Omnibus experience. But thank you very much for stopping by and enjoying the ride with us. If you'd like to leave feedback, travelersontheomnibus@gmail.com. Again, that email address is travelers1l@gmail.com. If you enjoyed listening to this and you'd like to provide this listening experience to other friends who may not listen on the same podcasting networks that you listen on, we're available on Spotify, Apple, Google Play Podcasts, and Amazon. Google Play Podcasts will eventually become YouTube Music sometime in the future, or if it is already the future. But anyway, that being said, the bus is going in the station. My name is James McCarthy, and this has been Travelers on the Omnibus. Have a good one, guys.